Biotic rifle damage decrease, biotic nade damage cut by half, biotic nade healing cut by half. What the hell? They can't do this to Ana. She'll be unplayable. She'll fall out of the meta. She's my main. I have both legendary skins. I have a golden weapon. There's only one reasonable thing for me to do now. Oh, okay. That's good. I mean, I already had written a script for the whole nerfing process and how I wasn't happy with it, but no, it's fine. It's cool that Blizzard listened to us and acts very quickly to our outcries. Ugh. This is why juggling YouTube and a full-time job proved difficult.
Little boy, you're going to hell! You said bad words for rushing the buzz, and now this is your tale!
Hey guys, Simpson2142 here, and today I'm going to be talking about the recent nerfs to Ana in the PTR, and about how Blizzard have very quickly, and quite rightly in my opinion, reined back some of the nerfs brought on to Ana. Okay, so the changes she initially received were: the damage to her rifle will now only deal 60 damage per shot, as opposed to 80. Her biotic grenade will now only deal 30 damage to an enemy, as opposed to its original 60, and her biotic grenade will now only heal 50 points, as opposed to its original 100. Since implementing this, it has become quite clear that having all these nerfs thrown at her at once were making her too unplayable in the PTR. And so Blizzard just recently announced that the biotic nade will return to its original values, but the nerf to her biotic rifle would remain. So Ana will still be seen a nerf, but not to the extent it once was. But some people are unhappy with this, both because they either think her rifle doesn't need a damage nerf, or because they're on the other end of the scale and they believe her biotic nade should have remained as nerfed as it once was, as it brought her to a much more even play level to the other healing heroes. So let's discuss that. Okay, so let's start off by focusing on the nerf to her rifle's damage from 80 per shot to 60 per shot. This may not seem like much, but when you put it into the context of Ana fighting off a flanker, such as Genji, it actually does make a significant difference. So currently, if a Genji attacks an Ana in a 1v1, Ana can pump 2 rifle shots into him, dealing 160 damage, and then quickly finish him off with a nade attack, providing he doesn't deflect of course. Drop that rifle damage down to 60 per shot, Ana will now have to pump 3 rifle shots into Genji before finishing him off with a nade attack. And hitting rifle shots onto a quick moving small target like Genji is not an easy feat.
Sniper, don't get caught.
Thank you, Mercy.
Justice rains from above.
And with Ana, you don't always tend to be up close with your team, as you can heal from long range and tend to hang back away from the action, scoping in and firing off healing shots to your allies who are fighting on the front line. So she's quite partial to a flanker attack, and this slight damage nerf to her rifle will affect Ana's survivability. But more crucially, with this damage reduction to 60 is how it will affect Pharah's survivability. Ana was always considered a great asset to help deal with the Pharah on the enemy team, as although Soldier 76 and McCree offer effective medium range damage, anything too long distance and the damage drop off becomes too great to effectively remove Pharah from the sky, especially if she's been awed by a friendly Zenyatta or healed by a friendly Mercy. Ana's rifle had no drop-off damage at all, and so she could very effectively keep Pharah at bay on open space maps. Now she won't be able to do this quite as effectively and therefore won't be so much of a threat to Pharah. So Pharah remains Rejoice. In fact, the only effective counter there will be to a good Pharah player who knows how to dip behind cover and keep distance will be a Widowmaker, so perhaps we'll start to see her come back into the meta. The only issue with Widowmaker is that she can be a bit trickier to gain full use. Having her picked to primarily deal with a Pharah means that your Widowmaker needs to be precise with her aim and able to land a headshot to instantly delete her from the skies. If you have a Widowmaker who can't carry this function, then it's going to make dealing with Pharah a whole lot more difficult. But overall, I can accept this nerf, as although the damage drop-off will be a hit to Ana, it still won't affect her rate of healing, and so she is still able to pump out those ridiculous amounts of heals as she was before, which to be fair is meant to be her primary function in the game. Now moving on to her Biotic Nade, and how they have now returned it to its original values. Okay, so let's discuss the original nerfs made to it, reducing its damage from 60 to 30. This one I didn't actually find to be that huge of a deal. Sure, it would have slightly hindered her survivability as she can't inflict as much damage onto an enemy attacking her, but with her rifle reduced down to 60 damage per shot, she would still need to pump 3 shots into a 200 health Genji to bring him down to 20 health. So regardless of whether her nade does 30 damage or 60 damage, it would still finish him off. I always found the main strength of her Biotic Nade was always the denial of healing it put on the enemy targets rather than its initial damage anyway. What I did have greater concern with, however, was reducing the healing factor from a nade from 100 down to just 50. Not so much because it would hinder her healing ability on her fellow allies, as even without her Biotic Nade she can still pump out the most healing potential of all the other healers with just her rifle alone, not including Zenyatta's ultimate, obviously, but more the fact that she wasn't able to self-sustain herself. Ana is the only healer in the game who cannot effectively self-heal. Mercy can regenerate her health, Lucio can use his healing beat to regenerate his health, and Zenyatta mostly consists of shield health, which can also regenerate by itself. Ana does not have any of this. The only way for her to self-heal is with her Biotic Grenade, which would only now heal for 50 health and every 10 seconds. That's pretty terrible for someone who's considered a high priority target by the enemy. And it's not just the nerfs to her that would have made playing her a lot more difficult, but also the proposed buffs to the other heroes. Winston, for example, is getting a buff to his barrier cooldown, which will now start immediately after it's deployed as opposed to when it's destroyed. So he will most likely see a rise in play, and his playstyle involves jumping into the enemy's back lines and harassing the support heroes such as Ana. Zenyatta is also receiving a buff to his orb accuracy, so the rise of Zenyatta will mean more flankers are going to possess a harmony orb, again making them even more difficult for Ana to kill. But finally, and perhaps most crucially, is all the buffs coming to Sombra, as her out of stealth announcement, "Here I am," will be quietened down, her beacon will have a shorter cooldown period, and her hacked health packs will now be visible to allies, so she will almost certainly see a rise in play. And Sombra can be a very effective flanker to take out an Ana. But it's not only that, if she's running around hacking all the nearby health packs, Ana's going to find it even more difficult to find ways of healing herself. I can actually almost see her becoming the new Genji with how she will be constantly crying out for heals. So in my opinion, Blizzard were very right to bring the Biotic Nade back to its original values. Hell, they could have even kept the damage reduction of it down to 30, but they cannot slash its healing from 100 down to 50, not without giving Ana some form of health regeneration in the process. It would have just slashed her survivability too much, especially in this new dive comp meta which seems to be on the rise. If Blizzard do want to bring Ana to the level of the other healers, then I'd be far more supportive of giving them a buff to make them as viable as Ana, Mercy, rather than trying to nerf Ana so far into the ground that you feel that you're then forced to play another healer just to win the round. I mean, part of the reason I love to play Ana is that she's not only a very good healer, but she's also a very fun one too. And of course there is nothing fun about dying over and over again. Trust me, I know that. Anyway, that's just my thought on the matter. Please do let me know your thoughts on the matter. Were the nerfs too much? Were they justified? Or do you think she could have been nerfed even more? It'd be interesting to hear other people's perspectives on this, as being an anime myself, my opinion may be a little bit biased overall. But until the next one guys, take care.